Shemai, Prinhoundar. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the streaming of Tundra by Marcus Morau. We hope that you enjoyed watching it. We're live from our living room in Cardiff, and we're about to host the post-show talk. My name is Matthew, and I'm a dancer from National Dance Company Wales.
My name's Cami. I'm also a dancer at National Dance Company Wales.
My name's Ed, and I'm also a dancer at National Dance Company Wales.
Hey!
Tundra was originally created back in 2017 as part of a large indoor-outdoor project called Parade. Since then, it's been toured around the UK and worldwide.
So I guess we'd just love to hear from you. So this is your opportunity to ask us any questions about the piece, about Marcos, about the costumes. You can comment any thoughts or questions you have on the Facebook feed. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you guys if you have any questions. So there we go, I guess. Right now, I think the bows are still happening, so maybe you guys will join us in a moment for any questions.
Shall I read out?
Oh, yeah,
go on, question. It's got a question. I've never understood how dancers remain so synchronized during sections without obvious musical cues, as in the beginning of Tundra. Do they just count?
That's a good one.
Do you answer that one, Matt?
Yeah, so Tundra was a funny piece really, because there were parts of the piece where we did have clear cues, but there were other sections which were a lot more ambiguous. Also, the musicality was all over the place. There'd be like a 5 followed by something where we'd count a 12. So it's very difficult, but it took a lot of rehearsal, I suppose, to refine it and get the group together. But there are also parts where we're staying together using our breath, like literally making sound, and that just takes a lot of rehearsal time to find a common ground between us all.
Yeah.
Got another question, have we? What was the inspiration for the piece, and what was the choreographic practice for the piece?
There's another one. What are the outfits made from, and are they a bit hot to dance in? I'll answer that one. So the outfits, the costumes are made from like loads of different fabrics actually that have all been collaged together. So everything from, I think, a bit lycra, cotton. I don't know all of the names of them, but they were all. It was a pair of leggings with then a pair of trousers made over the top of them. So that was already a really thick layer. And then we had a bodysuit on as our base layer, so like a little leotard. We also had like a jacket, and that was made of canvas, I think, and then a ruff as well, a collar. So it was super hot. They weren't very stretchy, but they do look amazing. And they were made actually by Anne Harrod Matthews, and she spent so much time making sure that the design of the costumes, so we're all obviously different heights, but that the line in the costumes would try and stay the same throughout. So someone's line might be on the knee and another person's line might be just slightly further down. So that was, I'm sure, really painstaking work she took to do that. But I think it looks quite good.
Yeah, and I think really that the costumes obviously used a lot of patchwork and fabrics from all sorts of different eras and different cultures and what have you, which I suppose is reflected in the piece by its inspiration of Russia and its history of folk dance and what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just going back to what the inspiration for the piece was, initially, so the piece Tundra was commissioned originally as part of a massive project that was commemorating the centenary of the Russian Revolution. So that was the base idea that I understand that Marcus Morau was inspired by, about revolution and how we're all designed in the line. Is his idea that revolution wouldn't be instigated by a single individual, but by a group of people. So I believe that was the original inspiration.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it. Have we got any more questions? Keep them coming.
Choreographic practice.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Who wants to?
I mean,
Yeah.
You go.
Well, yeah, no. So Marcos had a very clear kind of movement language, which we explored to create a lot of the choreography, well, all of it, I suppose. And part of that we would create using different tasks, which he would set us based on his movement language. And other than that, he would create some movement and kind of put it on us, and so would his assistants. And often it'd be really difficult and complex because Marcos isn't originally from a dance background when he was growing up, so a lot of his movement can seem very I don't know what the word is for us. It's just
alien.
Just like alien, and as soon as it's put on us, it's really so complex and unordinary. So unordinary. So that makes it really interesting.
And the way it's constructed as well was so complicated. We start off with a base phrase, but then you'd start to tweak lots of different things. So it'd be constantly changing. You like to add in the middle of phrases. So hence why we'd make up these phrases of 15 counts, which are a really odd number for music to be usually counted in. So there was a lot of additions and changes constantly. So our brains were always working during the creation process. So that was quite complicated, challenging, but we managed it all right, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was literally like editing and chopping and changing the piece right up until moments before we went on for the preview of the show. So yeah, it was kind of it'd challenge us a lot in that way, but it'd always keep the piece quite fresh. And he would always encourage us to search for new possibilities rather than just accepting the first option or solution that we found. There'd always be more complexities that we could find within the movement.
I also think just rehearsing it was so painstaking because, of course, it was all of these really detailed movements, and trying to practice it in a line required so much like patience and teamwork, because I guess, the creation was a whole sort of 4 or 5 weeks of creation, and we were in a line, not really moving more than in the line for the entire time. And obviously as dancers we're kind of used to kind of moving around the space in different ways, and it was that in itself was a real practice as well, and very much like how Marcos likes to work. So yeah, that was definitely a new experience for us, but very rewarding in the end, even though it was pretty stressful at times.
And I think that was one of the challenges, was to make the work explosive and, I don't know, dynamic, even though we're kind of constrained in this line, but to kind of make it loud and kind of break out of our costumes as much as we could.
Yeah, I guess also like that thing of finding the power. His movement is about finding power from nowhere as well. So whether that's like being a movement is vacuumed into somewhere, so it's almost like it comes in and out of nowhere. And I think that doing that to get to collectively in a line is the challenge, but also the beauty of his work. So yeah.
Real question from Sarah Chu, asking, what's your favourite memory performing it, or favourite place?
I mean, personally, I feel like the video you just watched at the Wales Millennium Centre was a big one for us. It was such an enormous stage that we're not usually used to performing on. It was one of the bigger ones that we go to, and that was incredible. Like we had an enormous audience, and obviously it was part of Parade, which was before that. It felt like such a massive event, and it was special to be involved in that, and to finish with Tundra was like amazing.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to pinpoint one event in particular, because we performed the piece in so many different types of theatres, like from such small theatres to large theatres all across the world. But I think that there have probably been a couple of performances in Germany, I can't remember the specific theatres, where we just had like enormous audiences, and it feels incredible performing to them when you get such a response from the audience after.
I definitely had my favourite moment is definitely when in the marching section, when the lights come up. So we're silhouetted at the back, like we're silhouettes and we're marching and unison with our arms, and the lights come up on the audience slightly, and it's the first time that we have space and time to see the audience in front of us, and that is like always super breathtaking for me, because I don't know, it's really emotional, because I think that everyone is really like, wow, like at the costumes and the choreography, and so to sort of see their response as we're doing it is quite amazing. And the skirts, there's always like oohs and ahs, like the
Yeah,
skirts at the beginning, which is always really magical. However many times you do it. So. Yeah.
Another question?
Yeah.
Want to read it?
What was it like working through the ideas behind it and the premise of Parade? And did it have any correlation with the first work of Parade?
Well, I'd say that the Marcos was given the theme of revolution. So in that sense, both pieces were linked subtly with that theme. And I guess that the idea behind Tundra is that Tundra is a barren place, somewhere where nothing grows. And I think that what Marcos liked about that word was that it was an empty space. So actually a really good place for us to start. And yeah, that's what I would say is sort of how we started creating, was partly that.
Yeah, so the whole theme and ambience that was made by Parade as a whole was one of quite harsh and cutthroat. There was a lot of rebellion ideas and kind of robotic elements and quite factory and it was like clockwork the way it was run, and I feel that also kind of echoes in Tundra, that it's really harsh. It's a barren place, and it's also a very confronting line that's created on stage. So it's quite a I don't know what word to describe that, but it's harsh.
And I guess also the piece is about being human, humanity, about community, and like, communication, because we all have to really communicate. And I guess that theme is just also in the whole premise of the event that was happening too. So yeah.
Maybe we got one more?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got time for one.
Got one from Ollie Bell. The work was so technical and precise, and you guys had to be so in sync. As part of a mix bill, how did you go about preparing yourself for all of the different works in the bill? So yeah, I mean, well, this piece has been part of so many different mix bills actually, because it was in the repertoire for almost 3 years. But I suppose that our triple bills have always been very varied, so it's always a challenge approaching each piece in the right way, which works for you.
Yeah, it depended where it came in the program. Sometimes we would begin with Tundra, and then most of the other times we would end with Tundra. So beginning with it was nice artistically to begin with that, because you compose yourself right from the beginning and get right into the mind frame of the piece. But also you come on stage quite relatively cold, not being aware, used to dancing with that audience in that particular venue. So it was quite nerve-wracking, like being on balance straight away. Whereas if we ended with that, it would be the other way around, where you'd have maybe less time to get into the feel of the piece, but you'd be warm and ready, and there'd be a bit more confident standing on your legs.
We've got a question for you, Matthew Pritchard. Your rehearsals and conditioning must be tough at times. What's your go-to meal or snack at the end of a particularly hard day? Perhaps a sandwich of some sort? Thanks for that.
I mean, my snack of choice has got to be a bit of hummus with a bit of carrot batter or some crackers maybe. That's my go-to snack. I do also like sandwiches for sure.
You love toast?
I do. I particularly enjoy salmon sandwiches. They're one of my personal favourites. Yes, conditioning is very, very important, of course, and we do plenty of our own conditioning around our dance rehearsals to keep us in shape and prepared to do what we have to do. We have one more question.
Yeah,
I've seen
one more.
here we've got a question from Sir Antoine.
It's such an intense and ensemble piece. Was it difficult to get back into that collective movement when you returned to the piece for later performances? Did you have any tools or tricks for getting into that closely knit ensemble movement?
That's a good one. I mean, I think, is it all right if I start? I guess it's really difficult to, well, a piece evolves over time. So how we created it and how it ended up 3 years later, of course, it's the same movement, but I think our bodies adapt to make things make more sense for us, I guess. I know personally from my experience, I left the company and then rejoined, so then came back to the piece almost 2 years later with a very new group of people. And of course, the people that you're dancing next to, it feels very different slotting yourself back into a piece after so long. But it's incredible what like muscle memory does. And, you know, it's just a question of sort of retuning back in and adapting, I guess. There's a lot of that. I think we all have to adapt when we go back into a piece after leaving it for a while or reintroducing new dancers into a group. That definitely takes adjustment, and it will never feel the same again. I don't think. It will just feel different, which is just as good. It's different. I don't know.
I also think because like the rehearsals would be so kind of painstaking to such detail, and it's such a dense piece that you would have to rely so much on the people around you. So you'd be so aware of everybody, not just yourself, that you would, you know, take extra care to be listening to each other. So you would kind of build that community whenever you're performing. Because you'd always have to be listening because you do rely on everyone.
Yeah. And you know, even to the point where I guess when you're in the line sometimes and you like don't have a count. I remember definitely at the beginning, if like we lost our counts, we'd be counting for each other, or you just go count, and then someone would count you in where you were in the music, just because it was like your little lifeline throughout. And I think that we all really like leaned on each other, like you said, for those sorts of things. So yeah, it's all about the team. Great.
Yes. Well.
Yeah. We should wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you again for joining us for the streaming of Tundra and the post-show talk. If you'd like to catch Tundra again, then it should be on BBC iPlayer very soon. And if not, then you can head over to our YouTube channel and check out Tundra and some of our other work.
We've got a carefully curated program that's going to be coming up over the next couple of months. So if there are other things that you might like to see, just keep yourself posted on our social media for other things coming up. And have a great day.
Diolch.